They have just released a brand new trailer for Doctor Who Series 13, otherwise known as Flux, and today we're going to talk about it, so let's just waste no further time and get started watching this thing. Not much to make of this in particular. She's sending out what appears to be some sort of a signal or something of the sort. That is my particular guess. We've seen a few shots of her, both in the previous teaser and in this trailer, where she appears to be alone. It is possible that we're going to have an episode focused solely on the 13th Doctor. I don't know that that's actually going to happen, but I kind of hope that it does, because it'll give Chibnall a chance to really focus on her character for just one story without too many other characters sort of getting in the way of that.
It's happening again.
Who are you?
I'm the Doctor. This is Raz. This is Dan.
So we just get a couple of shots here of supporting characters, which I obviously can't say too much about, and of course Yaz and Dan. Obviously we've seen Yaz quite a bit previously in this show, but we also, in my personal opinion, haven't gotten all that much in terms of characterization. The most that we got was in the second half of Series 12, and Dan, of course, we know basically nothing about, so it'll be very interesting to see, among all of the other things they're balancing in Flux, how they're going to incorporate the two companions that we have, Yaz, and presumably ending her character arc either in Flux or more likely in the specials to follow, and Dan, who I'm guessing isn't going to stay for the specials, but that is only my assumption. I can't really say for certain, but I am definitely very curious to see what is done with those characters, considering there are quite a few stories and stuff with the Timeless Children to sort of wrap up in these next 9 episodes. So it seems like there was quite a lot to do and not very much time to do it, both in terms of the story and the characters. So I'm very interested to see how that plays out and how much of a focus we do get on these two companions. This appears to be some sort of a spaceship. I think I've seen some people surmise that it could be a Sontaran spaceship. I kind of understand that because there is this circular design that we have seen previously. I don't know 100% if that's the case, but it would totally make sense in terms of the kind of thing we've seen previously with the Sontarans, but I couldn't say for certain. Here we see somebody's face crumbling apart. I'm curious to see the context of that.
Why don't I know about this? And who else does?
Now, we don't know the context of that line, but it will be interesting to see whether that is something that relates to the Timeless Child story arc that we have learned about in the previous season of the show, or whether that is just basically a one-off thing for a different story. But considering that Flux is all one grander story, it would make sense for them to include a line like this, which is tied directly into the story arc, but we'll have to wait and see, like with everything else. Okay, I can't not comment on this. It's incredibly silly. And I mean, if you're doing Doctor Who and it's not at least somewhat silly, you're probably doing it wrong. I mean, obviously Russell T Davies had cat people, and I guess Chris Chibnall's answer to that is to have dog people. I mean, this is literally a dog's face. I've seen some people compare it to Chewbacca, which, while I understand that comparison just visually because it is this sort of dark brown color and it's got all of this hair and it's, humanoid, it is very clearly a dog, so that is the kind of silly thing that we've come to expect from this show, and you know what, I think I'm okay with that. I think it looks ridiculous. We'll see how it's used in action.
Very odd.
Hell yes, our first proper look at the new Sontaran design. You know what, I gotta be honest, I'm pretty happy with this thing. We'll have to wait and see again how it's used in action and also the characterization of the Sontarans, but just from the look of this thing, I really do dig it, and I'm excited to see the Sontaran story. That's one of the things I am very much looking forward to, and I do like the look of this thing. And of course we have an Ood. I would love to know how that is incorporated, and I'm excited to see how that's going to be used, but it is good to see the Ood back, and I like this slight redesign, which feels like it fits within this era of the show.
I can't help feeling that some of this is my fault.
We'll get some more shots of this later, but we've seen a number of things with the Doctor and Yaz in this green area. There's all these spikes and things and this green background, and I just have to be perfectly honest here when I say that everything that I've seen from this trailer and the previous teaser that is set within this sequence or this episode doesn't look particularly good. I could be proven wrong on that, and it might end up being a great sequence or a great episode. But my prediction is that if this is a sequence, it's not going to be a particularly good sequence. And if this is an episode, it's probably going to be the weakest one of the 6. That is just my feeling based off of the shots we've seen. We'll see more of that, and I'll explain what I mean later. But that's just what I'm getting so far.
Run for your life!
Maybe we should have broke that seal a little bit more gently.
I am very much looking forward to how this companion is used. I know I have had mixed feelings about introducing a new companion, but I am definitely looking forward to seeing what his dynamic will end up being, and I hope it is something that I and other people enjoy. Here we get some kind of a big explosion or something. As we can see, it appears to be a planet or a moon in front of us. I can't really make much of this, but I am assuming that something massive is being destroyed. I can't add too much because I don't know much of the context, but I'm curious to see what that's going to end up being.
What is that?
Okay, here we get just a little bit more. As you can see, they're just flying through the air like this. There's explosions. I don't know, it doesn't look particularly good to me, just based off of what I've seen. Again, I could be totally wrong, but everything that I've seen from these shots, both in this trailer and the previous one, just looks like this mix of action and CGI that is not the kind of thing I come to Doctor Who for. We'll see how it's incorporated within the season. This is the only thing I'm really particularly, not necessarily negative about, but have a negative sort of feeling from, that I'm not going to enjoy this part of the season that much, however small or large it ends up being. Again, that's just what I'm getting from this trailer. There's more of that right here. You can see them holding on to something as they're being chased by these drones or whatever they are. I've already said my piece. I won't add more.
Our final fight has begun.
This is an interesting sort of design. I mean, it looks kind of out there. He seems to have some kind of shiny teeth. I don't want to say gold, it doesn't quite look gold, but maybe crystals. As we can see, he appears to have some crystals coming out of the side of his face. I obviously don't have anything to say about the character. I'm okay with the design. I don't think it looks incredible, but overall I think it looks good. This is one of the things that actually intrigued me most. What are the things he's looking at? It might end up being something incredibly interesting or terribly boring, but I'm curious to see what all of these figures are.
Whoa. Stay away from me.
And here we get what appears to be a rather massive battle. And I believe this is most likely from within the Sontaran story. I can't say for sure from this shot, but my guess is that on the right we have the Sontarans, because we did see that Sontaran on horseback earlier. And if a Sontaran is going to be on horseback, then it would kind of make sense for it to be in a time period like this, far in the past, and for them to be invading or something. So I am very interested to see a little bit more of this and how we get to this point in the episode or the story.
There's no use being squeamish.
And here we have it, Weeping Angels. I count 6 of them here. It has been a long time, I think about 9 years, since we have had a proper Weeping Angel story. So I am actually looking forward to seeing them again, and I really hope that Chibnall has brought justice to them, and I hope it's a really strong story. I think the Weeping Angels, if you're going to use them, you have to use them really well, because they have just been used excellently in the past, and they are such a great villain with such fantastic potential. So whatever you're going to do with them, do something good, right? So I am very much looking forward to seeing what is done with the Weeping Angels in Series 13 and whatever chapter of this story they are used in. I'm very much looking forward to it, and I hope it's really good because I think that the Weeping Angels deserve that.
We've got the future to see.
I will say I just love seeing companions in period piece outfits. I just happen to really like that. So I'm definitely looking forward to what this episode is going to be and what we see the other characters dressed in and their full outfits. That's just a fun thing to see in these different stories, is the different costumes. Even though it's not a big factor in how good the episode actually is, it's just something nice to see. It's interesting to see the return of the Cybermen already, considering that we just had them in not the last story, but the story right before it. And my guess is that if the Cybermen are returning, we're going to be seeing the Master again too. I can't guarantee that, but it does kind of make sense to me that if you are going to see them again, considering the way the Master left last time, that you are going to be seeing them together. here we see the battlefield of what I am guessing is that massive wide shot we got earlier of these two opposing forces with what are presumably Sontarans and humans. And obviously there are dead bodies here, there's a dead horse, there's cannons, so I'm guessing this is the aftermath of that, but I am definitely curious to see how all of these things play in together.
We don't have any more time.
We don't have any more time. Obviously, there's going to be some urgency in this season, and I am very curious to see how that plays out within this thing and how exciting it ends up being and the revelations that we get and all of it. I'm just very much looking forward to seeing what Chibnall does with his final season, because this is really his final shot at a season, and I hope it's good. I hope it's really solid. I do hope it's his best one yet, but regardless, I am looking forward to seeing what he does within it. And here we see this very much purple background. Now, I don't know the context of this, but the last time we saw something with these sort of shades of purple with the 13th Doctor was in The Timeless Children, when we learned about that backstory. So I'm curious if this is going to play into that, or if it is entirely unrelated. I really can't make much of this, but I'd love to. I just want to know. I look at this person on the right, and they appear to have some sort of a hat on and some sort of a costume that could be from a different time period, and on the left appears to be the 13th Doctor. So what I'm guessing actually is that these three are our three main characters, and that's Dan all the way on the right, 13 on the left, and Yaz in the middle. I could be entirely wrong, but that's my prediction as of now, and I'm interested to see which spaceships these are and just the rest of all of this stuff that we've seen in this trailer. And that's the trailer. We're going to be getting a brand new season of the show starting hopefully like 2 weeks after this video goes live. So I am super excited to see everything that we have within there. Obviously, I am going to be reviewing it, hopefully at a weekly pace. We'll see what I manage to do. Whatever your thoughts on this trailer are, be sure to leave them down below. I very much like what we're getting here. I like seeing all these different creatures, and I think that even though I am fond of Series 11, Chibnall really is best in terms of monsters and creatures when he's working with things that other people have created. That is what I personally believe, because I think he did a really good job with the Cybermen and with the Daleks and with the Master, so I'm curious to see how he handles things like the Sontarans. So I am very excited by what we've seen in this trailer, and obviously this is coming out on Halloween, so I will join you all in watching it and talking about it later. And for now, I hope to see you around soon for my ranking of Doctor Who Season 13, the classic season of the show, all 6 stories. I will be ranking them, and then afterwards we're going to be talking about Doctor Who Flux as often as I'm able to get out those videos, and then I expect after that will be the Season 14 of the classic show, and I will be reviewing those stories. So I hope to see you around for all of that stuff in the future, and I will get back now to, after I'm done editing this video, editing Season 14 reviews and the Season 13 ranking. So I hope to see you all around soon, but if not, that is totally cool, so long as you know that I appreciate your time here today. And with that said, thank you very much for watching, take care, and have a lovely week.